Oh, yes, these unbranded UB791 21 ounces. These are amazing. In this box, we have the Unbranded Brand 21 ounce heavyweight Selvedge red weft denim. Let's get this thing open, shall we? Yeah, look at that nice Obake, CRKT or something. I don't, CR, yeah. I'm not a knife person or anything, but that's a pretty nice knife. And here we go. The Unbranded Brand jeans. Now, as you can probably tell with all the eBay tape, these were not directly bought from Unbranded Brand, which is where I would recommend you buy them, because these are like the cheapest, kind of most affordable jean brand you can find. And there's a lot of savings even at their retail price. But when it came to this, I had to buy these off eBay because $85. I mean, look, they look brand new, right? Because they are. The person wore them 2 times, he said. But I would say, like, I don't know how that's even the case, because if you look at the back of the leg, zero wear. If you look at these Wranglers right here that I have, these are the Wrangler 13 MWZ. Somewhat new. I mean, I've been wearing them now for like over a month, so they've been worn, but I just want to show you that this back of the knee portion here, this happens super quickly. Anytime I wear any jeans, it starts to get the honeycombs on the back. And this did not happen after 2 wears for him. I think he was just being generous in the sense that when you sell things on eBay, you're kind of trying to be modest with what you're selling because you don't want to overpromise anything, right? And that's what I do with a lot of my listings. I'll point out things that people don't even really care about, but I point them out just, so you know what you're getting exactly. As you can see, the seat is quite, or the height of the rise in the back is quite high, quite a large rise. These are the wide fit, which is kind of like the Naked and Famous Strong Guy. And for those that don't know, the Unbranded brand is made by the Naked and Famous people. It's just made in a different place in China rather than in Canada or Japan sometimes, as they make Naked and Famous stuff. Here's where the internal Unbranded tag is stitched, as you can see through the stitching on the outside right there. It's like a hang loop, I guess. I don't think it's a hang loop. This would not hold up for a long time, I don't think. Not with these heavyweight jeans. Oh yeah, they smell like indigo. The pocket bags, immediately when I put my hand in there, I noticed they felt nice, like nice and cottony feeling, rather than like a drill. It feels a little bit brushed or something. Here's a coin pocket, quite small, fits barely 3 fingers, just about, and it's somewhat deep. It can hold like a lighter if that's what you're into. I wouldn't recommend smoking, but lighters can be used for more than smoking. As we turn the cuff, we see the beautiful red weft with the blue ear selvage. So this blue ID is traditional to Unbranded. They always use the blue Selvedge ID, I believe, and they have these different kind of materials that they bring out. Usually Unbranded's not going to have as many special materials as Naked and Famous, but this is one of their limited edition ones. They do have a standard 21 ounce jean just like this that does not have the red weft, and they fade about the same. Of course, you can see a little bit of the red on the outside, so in that sense it's different from their traditional standard stock, but these will not fade red. They'll fade blue like any kind of denim will do. And this super thick leather patch back here, very nice, full grain, smooth brown leather, unbranded, of course, nothing there, just beautiful patch of leather. I love that. And this leather right here is, like, to me, it's pretty special. It's a smooth brown with a lighter core, so it'll age in patina, as you can kind of see right there. From a belt, that kind of scuffs up and it'll start to lighten over time. That's a really cool patch. Nice deep pocket. I'd say it's honestly about the depth of a Wrangler 13 MWZ, which is a little bit less than something like a Levi's, which is what I'm wearing right now. Levi's 501 shrink to fit in burgundy brown color. Very cool. Oh boy, I was buttoning these things up. It kind of hurt my fingers. I ain't gonna lie, it kind of hurt my fingers to button these things up. But these are the wide fit. What's crazy is I've never been able to fit into a size 29 since I was probably like a teenager. These are vanity size, just like Naked and Famous, just like Wranglers, Levi's. Just like most brands out there, vanity sizing means the waist size is going to be larger than what it states as the waist size. So I absolutely do not have a 29-inch waist. These measure 31.5 inches, so it's half an inch larger than what my waist is. And they're raw denim, so they can shrink after some washes. Up to about 3% is what the tag says, but in my mind, if you end up washing in hot ever, which I probably won't, if you do wash these in hot, it'll be probably closer to 5% shrinkage rather than 3. I would say to expect 3% shrinkage if you're purely going with cold washing with line drying. If you're not using a machine dryer, you're just putting it out into the shade, don't do it in direct sunlight like I'm sitting in, then they'll probably only shrink up to 3%. And that's pretty much perfect for me. I think the inseam is 33 inches long. Yeah, look at that. Size 29, 31.5 inch waist. And typically I have to size up in the waist because the thigh measurement in jeans can be quite shallow, but these are a wide fit. So the size 29 has a 12.5 inch thigh. I need around a 12, which is like even the smallest size, 28 there, is still large enough for my thighs, which is why I can fit into the 29s rather than usually have to go up to like 32 to be able to fit into jeans across a lot of different brands, honestly, because I have kind of large, thick thighs. And these are just looking really good. I'm loving them right now, man. I'm loving them a lot. And this is the Unbranded Brand.com. That's their website. Not sponsored, nothing like that. But here's my website, Splished.com. I think you should check this out. I built it myself. It's beautiful. And if you're into MMA, you can go to mintedmma.com and make some UFC picks. We have UFC 328 today as I'm recording anyway. This video will be released later on. It starts in 2.5 hours. Don't forget to make your picks on the other events if you are into MMA and the UFC. Very cool websites that I build, as well as I have a gaming site too, coin.cc. And I guess, unbranded brand wearers might kind of understand the whole gaming side of things. I feel like a lot of gamers like heavyweight Selvedge denim and stuff like that. But yeah, a bunch of live streamed games. I do a whole bunch of stuff. Built this website too. As you can see, they go down basically like to the bottom of the heel on my boots, which is a good length. And I will cuff them now just so you can see the red weft selvage. And there's the single fairly thick wide cuff. I don't really cuff my jeans. Particularly, I don't like to cuff things that have a different contrast from the top. So the weft looks different from the warp. Usually I don't cuff jeans based on that. If they were the same color, like indigo by indigo, I would probably cuff, like my Gustin Sashiko jeans. Like I mentioned earlier, these wide fit UB791s fit kind of like the Naked and Famous Strong guys, which are like their widest cut, right? Which is why the bottom is quite wide. The opening looks like it's, it can fit over any kind of boot you want. Roper boots, cowboy boots, whatever you want. Super thick denim, 21 ounces. This is the first time I've ever experienced a 21 ounce denim jean like this. I've experienced Iron Hearts, but only like 14.5 ounce, which is Wrangler 13 MWZ weight. Full button front, so there's 5 buttons, no zipper. A lot of people do prefer zips, but in the raw denim community, usually people tend to prefer the buttons, especially when it comes to shrinkage, because zippers can become wavy. They can become a little bit misaligned and stuff like that. But yeah, you can see like these wide jeans really engulf your boots. Look how wide that looks across my boot. It makes my foot look quite small. Whereas if you have tapered jeans, it'll make your foot look a little bit larger. And here's the difference between the chain stitch of the Unbranded brand with the straight stitches of the Wrangler 13 MWZ and the Levi's 501 shrink to fit. It's just a little bit better looking, a little bit more detailed, and something that people tend to prefer when they're into raw and Selvedge denim. The sounds these dang jeans make when my legs sometimes rub together as I'm walking. Over time, that should definitely lighten as these start to get softer because the material is quite stiff and heavy. You can hear it very easily, but once they're nice and soft and beat up over the course of probably like a year, then they'll be much quieter, much nicer. And check that out. That's about 1 day of wear for me. Less than a day, actually. I do a lot of like feet sitting. I sit on my feet a lot, so I get honeycombs forming pretty quickly. And those are actually starting to kind of hurt the back of my legs a bit because the material is so thick and rigid. It digs into my skin, causes friction, but it's fine. I mean, it's looking pretty good right there, right? And these are supposed to be fast fading jeans. They're not really fading yet. Not so much anyway, but I guess you can see certain spots are. But yeah, fast fading kind of indigo on the top. So they'll lighten up pretty quickly according to the Unbranded Brand and Naked and Famous. Oh, yes, these unbranded UB791, which are basically like a limited version of the UB721, 21 ounces. These are amazing. They're my favorite pair of jeans in the sense that I'm a heavyweight kind of person. This is my first pair of 21 ounces. I've only ever owned, I think, at the heaviest, like a 16-ounce 316 pair of denim, which had such a low rise, and I love the rise on this because it's a high rise. It's my belly button's like basically right here. Here's my belt, and it just fits super well. Size 29. I'm seriously, like, I've never fit into a size 29 in my adult life. Like, even when I was a skinny 19-year-old, I don't think I would have been in a size 29. Well, I mean, in these I would have been. These would have been too big for me. But still, like, I don't know. It's just an interesting thought because of I mean, I'm always like a 32, right? Even vanity sizing 32 because I have to size for my thighs. But the thing about these wide cuts is that they're wide enough even with a slim waist, which is perfect for me. I feel like these don't even look super wide. Like if you were to ask what cut of jeans are these to random people on the street that aren't really into like functional fashion or fashion in general, they would probably just say these are like a straight cut, right? I feel. I mean, it looks a little bit kind of baggy around the bottom, but ultimately they kind of just fit like a pair of cowboy cuts might fit, like a relaxed cowboy cut, I would say, not necessarily like a Wrangler 13 MWZ, which is way more fitted than these. We also have these beautiful shell cordovan boots on. For those that want to see how the cuffing looks, here's a single fat cuff. When the colors are different like this, it kind of visually breaks everything up and it makes the leg look a little bit shorter. It doesn't really matter that much, but in my mind, in my opinion, it just looks better with a very clean long line. And that's kind of how I design my websites as well. Check out splished.com as just one example of a clean looking website. These Unbranded Brand jeans are actually made by a company called Naked and Famous, but in China, right? They run this as a sub-brand to Naked and Famous, or not to Naked and Famous necessarily, but they kind of use the name and the company, right? And they offer these because a lot of people like to get into raw and heavyweight denim, and not just heavyweights, they have the lighter weights as well, but it's very expensive, right? So if you can buy a pair of jeans like I did, $85 for a 21-ounce pair of jeans, insane. But these do retail for more like $150, and even then, $150 for a pair of 21-ounce beautiful denim. It's just like, this is unbeatable value in my mind when you're into this stuff, right? Obviously, if you may have just watched this video randomly from the YouTube home feed or something, and you don't know what I'm even talking about, you're just watching the video, maybe this isn't your thing, right? You're thinking like $150 for jeans. If you look at Iron Hearts or something like that, right? $400. It's like insane. And of course that's like Grail quality, and it's made in Japan. So of course, you know, the quality of life there and the cost of living is a little bit higher than in China. So it's understandable. I'm not saying that their price point is too high or anything. I'm just saying that in comparison, and if you don't really know about this stuff and you think 150 is a lot, trust me, it's not. But yeah, these are the Unbranded brand, and they do have nice deep pockets, not too deep. They remind me almost like Levi's, which is interesting because I used to complain about Naked and Famous pockets. I used to own like Easy Guys and I think Weird Guys and stuff. The pockets are so tiny on those things, but on these, pretty much perfect. They're larger than the Wrangler 13 MWZ, smaller than the Levi's, so basically perfect, I would say. The back pocket is not quite as nice as I would like in terms of the width of the opening here, because when I try to put my notebook in here, I have like a notebook that I write in. It's like a passport sized notebook. Doesn't fit in the back, and that's a little bit sad because it fits in any of my other back pockets in jeans or pants. These are unwashed, of course, so they're raw, and I'm not going to wash them for probably like 2 months or so. I really want to get them broken in. They're supposed to be fast fading, and I can tell they are kind of fading in certain spots. The honeycombs are starting to set in slightly on the back of the knees there, and ultimately it's starting to shape to my body as well. We got the whiskering coming out on the front, not so much in terms of fading, but mostly like you can see the material bending and shifting and warping to the shape of my body. These have been the UB791s. Check out my website. I wrote an article about these. And of course, these are the limited ones, but you can still get the standard stock ones that they have. And this review serves those as well. It's basically the same thing. The only difference is that this has a red weft and the other ones are more like a natural jean looking thing, which I think most people would prefer, especially if you're just getting into this kind of stuff. Does it smell good, baby? Yeah, I'm like that with jeans too.